Morning, it's the 26th of February and we have a new muck spreader. It's not going to look that nice for very long, is it? Anyway, just spreading some chicken muck on some land that we are going to grow some first dual crop. Actually, we're going to mix beans and oilseed rape, well, that's the plan. See what happens. Smelly stuff and all that. Let's med that steam. This is just some cattle muck actually. It's only been taken out some cattle yards just recently. I'm not going to spread it just at the moment because it's still a bit raw at the moment. If you heap it up and let it rot down, it just makes the nutrients a lot more available to the crops in it. Because it takes quite a lot of nitrogen to make the lignin in the straw rot down. So if we leave it there till this autumn, it should make good stuff. It'll shrink down quite a lot. It gets really hot and breaks down, but it spreads really easily after it's been done. So no, we're only spreading the chicken muck today, and then we'll put this on somewhere in the autumn. Anyway, I'll film Sam spreading some muck in a minute. Got the first load on. We've sort of decided roughly how much we want to get. We only want about 2 tonnes to the acre of this chicken muck on, so it's just a bit fiddly getting set up, but the GPS makes it easy because you can, if you know roughly how many bucketfuls you've put in and you can see how much you've done with each load, you can kind of keep an idea of how much you're getting on. It's quite high in nitrogen, this chicken muck, which is why we don't want too much on. Obviously the beans in this crop that's coming up don't need any nitrogen, but the rape that's going to be grown with the beans do, so it's for the oilseed rape really. We'll look at the spreader in a minute, and there's a few interesting things about this stubble as well anyway, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Cheers. Bye. Yeah, so I'm actually quite pleased with this stubble actually. It was, what did we grow in here last year? Winter oats in here last year. But we did actually undersow it with some grass and clover and a few herbs and that kind of thing. They didn't really come that well, the grass and clover and stuff. The oats did well. I think that probably drowned out a lot of the stuff I tried to undersow in it. But actually, after harvest, it really greened up and it made a good cover. And so actually, I managed to keep a lot of fattening cattle over here in the autumn, and the sheep have used it a lot. And the grass is whether the grass we want or not, I don't know. So there, given some quite a bit of ground cover and a bit of living root in the soil anyway, so I'm really quite pleased with it. So anyway, yeah, we're putting this chicken muck on here now. We will plough it because it is organic, and otherwise I haven't really got anywhere to put in this green stuff here, but it'll incorporate the muck anyway. We'll get it ploughed tomorrow. Anyway, it's good. Spreader seems to be going alright. I'll film him when he's back on the field. It's a nice day today. There he is. I'm not going to get any closer than that. On the 130 yard. But not still too close. Got the slurry door fairly well down because we're wanting the muck to spread off the discs at the bottom, and it seems to be working. We're going at 12 metres, and when you have a walk across it looks pretty even, so I'm quite happy with that. Like I say, we're only going at 2 tonnes here because it's not taking a lot of power really. They're on their way. These are our gimmer lambs, so these were they're mainly bought in, but they're last year's lambs that we'll keep for a year, and we'll put them to the tup in November this year. So we just want to keep them cheaply this year, and they can just grow a little bit. So they're all females. a mixture of a few of our own that we've kept and some mules that we bought from in North Yorkshire. I'm just turning them through onto a field of organic rye. It was the rye was direct drilled after a crop of beans last year. I'm relatively pleased with it actually. It's the first time I've direct drilled anything on the organic side of things. So it's good. It's an interesting experiment. If you can hear me for the wind, I'll go down here a bit. The rye is very competitive, so I'm hoping, even though it's direct drilled, it will get away from any weeds that are there. The reason I didn't plough it was partly because we're trying to reduce the amount of ploughing we do on the organic front. There's Localis buildings up there. It's a good view from Localis. And to reduce cost, and also there was a lot of charlock that grew in the beans last year, and so there was a lot of bean seed on the surface and some wild oat seed, which I didn't really want to plough down. So I grazed the bean stubble straight after harvest, and the cattle and sheep did a really good job of clearing up the bean seed that was left, because you can't find any volunteer beans in here. And actually charlock, it's pretty windy again. Charlock's not particularly winter hardy, so there is charlock growing in there, but I'm kind of hoping the sheep might eat it, and the rye will hopefully outcompete it as well. I'll leave them on here for, I don't know, they might get a week, they might get a fortnight on here. I don't want to overdo it. Some people say that grazing it will help it to till more. I'm hoping that's the case. Other people would say that the ultimate yield will be related to the biomass early on in the crop's life. So by grazing it, I'm probably reducing that biomass. So I may even be reducing the yield. I don't know, we'll see. I was going to put a few hurdles around the square actually, just to keep the sheep off, just so I can compare, just to see what the tiller numbers are like after grazing. Leaves it blowing around a bit. But anyway, it's a nice day. The ground's nice and reasonably dry at the moment as well, so if I'm going to graze these arable fields, I'd quite like it when the sheep can't paddle too much. I mean, this is quite a light lying stony field anyway, so I don't think they'll do a lot of damage even if it was quite wet. So yeah, fingers crossed. We're a bit short of sheep feed at this time of year, so it's somewhere to keep these gimmers for a bit. Gimmers, by the way, are young females that haven't had a lamb yet, and yeah, hopefully it'll make it tiller out a bit more, so we'll see. We'll try and keep you informed. Feels like spring today. There's birds singing today. See you all later.